The following portion of the Arizona Daily Mix is sponsored by Mr. Reuter Plumbing of Phoenix, Arizona.
When buying a house, you usually do an inspection. An inspection usually is inside the house, maybe outside, looking at different cracks and stuff. But a lot of people, Dan, forget to check the plumbing, and especially outside plumbing. And that's what we're doing today here at Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Let's talk about things that you do to help people inspect their houses.
Okay. Well, the most important thing, Brad, is the sewer camera inspections that we do. We've been doing those now for almost 30 years throughout the entire valley, and we've seen it all, trust me. But the main thing is we want to see where the line runs. You want to know where the line runs as a new home buyer interested in purchasing. You want to know where your sewer line runs, but more important than that, you want to know what condition it is in, and whether it needs repair or whether it needs maintenance, and what that looks like in that repair and what that's going to be, you know, maybe for in the future.
Right, because if you don't have that checked and you pretty much buy the house, you're responsible now for it more than the seller of the house.
Absolutely, we run into that all the time. Yes, that's absolutely right.
Okay,
So,
all right, we're actually going to check one right now. So let's go through what they do here. So
okay, so Trent's going to do a camera inspection here. We're going through the clean out that shoots into the sewer line and then heads out towards the street here at this house.
Got it. And what's very important too is to know where these cleanouts go to, because you're saying this one actually goes out to the street and not so much in the yard.
Correct. Yeah, it makes its way through the yard, but then it actually goes underneath the sidewalk here, and then it makes its way into the street and goes out to approximately the middle of the street.
Yeah. So we're talking that you do want to have this checked out, because if something goes wrong, you got to find out if the city needs to come out or if you have to do it and what goes on. So that's very important.
Right, absolutely, very important. And we do find a lot of times where the city will accept responsibility and they will take the job and they'll do the repairs in the street. Sometimes they don't. It depends on the city. It depends on what their rules are.
Got it. Okay, as we're looking at what's going on here, you're saying that this is very interesting because there's a belly in this one?
Yeah, there's a low spot. That belly is what we consider to be in the industry. It's a low spot. So there's actually a part of the pipe that has shifted down. And so what that does is that collects everything. So if you can imagine anything that you would flush through your plumbing system and down your drain lines, it will collect out in that low spot or that belly, and eventually it will build up, and over time there'll be a blockage there.
Wow.
And we'll have to take care of that.
Right, a lot of problems. Okay, now we're not only talking about the clean out, we're also talking about the other pipes that go in the house, and there's two that you usually see outside here.
Right.
One goes out towards the street drainage, kind of.
Yes.
And then the other one
Goes in.
And
So they just cross over each other at the bottom. So if you can imagine, they go straight down and then they turn towards each other, and that allows access into the main line to go underneath the house, which is very important as well. A lot of the older homes have cast iron, old pipe that's kind of crumbling and breaking down over time, and I guess it was meant to do that. But there's a lot of that going on underneath the house, so it's very important to look at that as well.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing that you do, is come out and expect all this for people, and you want them to know that, hey, listen, you're here for them to make sure they're getting everything they need for the house.
Right, that's correct. We do. Our inspections run anywhere from $200 to $350 for this service. It's a small price to pay, is what I tell people. The stuff that we find going into some of these deals and whatnot can be handled before they purchase the home, right? So it can be negotiated into the price of the sale of a home and whatnot.
And so you're also saying, too, even if you're not selling your house or buying a home, this is something that you should probably do, almost like a checkup on your car.
Yeah, you should know, right? I mean, it's going to be a major expense. If we have to dig into the street and fix a pipe, or even into the yard, depending on the depth and what's in the way and whatnot, it does get expensive, you know, and it's an expense where people, you know, you're not thinking about it. It's all of a sudden it just happens. It's an emergency, and you need to fix it so that your house can be habitable.
There it is. I like that. Well, if you need your house inspected before selling or buying, give a call to Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Information is right there on the screen, or head over to the cw7az.com. All right, so you said...
The preceding portion of the Arizona Daily Mix was sponsored by Mr. Reuter Plumbing of Phoenix, Arizona.